Fire Escape Academy Inspector Training. We're here in Chicago at the Palmer House. We're looking at connections on an existing fire escape structure as to whether or not it's been properly repaired. And what we have here is whether the fire escape has been painted as required every 3 years. This one seems to have been the front but not the side. This side here has not been painted. There's a lot of evidence of rust throughout. Cantilever's out of balance. Required to drop 2 to 3 feet per second. Right now it's actually ripped. The weight box is ripping. That's a life safety issue. It's actually ripped the cantilever weight box right there. There's a lot of rust. A lot of rust already on the angles. A lot of rust on the treads. We got original hardware and all the treads coming down this side of the fire escape. Looking for evidence of repair, but there's not any on this particular section of the fire escape. And as you can see, it has no paint. And when you look underneath and look at the weight box, aside from the top of it ripping, look how much the rust is here. So again, Fire Escape Academy Inspector Training, we're looking for evidence that it must be painted every 3 years or it must be structurally sound. And that would mean some new hex head bolts. So I see one hex head bolt up there on the stringer clip, one. They didn't bother changing bolts. So this is what typically happens on a lot of fire escape repair. There's a minimum, the cantilever's out of balance with that chain. That chain is excessively pulling on that support. It'll pull it down, but it's also going to rip out as it's, there's a life safety issue here now anyway, with that big weight ready to dangle, and that chain will not hold it. Once it comes down, it'll fall here. Now, this is going down the alleyway, again, behind 133 State Street, and we're looking at all these fire escapes. We're going to sort of do a collage of fire escape inspections here. Again, this chain is out of connection. Grabbing on chains are not supposed to go to staircases because the staircases were never made to take such an impact from the weight, and that's a heavy, heavy weight. You got a stiffener arm there that is not bolted. Looks like it's pulling away from the channel. We got rust in the connections into the building. We're looking for evidence of new bolting on this particular fire escape, and I don't see any. It's all original square head bolts. We're looking for evidence of cement repacking. We don't see any here on this particular, and we're looking for the 3-year paint job, which I don't see it on this particular fire escape here either. Some debris. Again, all the treads on this are square heads, as you can see, so that means that these have not been addressed in its 50 to 75-year life on this particular fire escape. Let's look around to this one. We got a lot of deterioration. We got rust growing, square head bolts on this one, and it's already popped over here. As you can see, it's already popped out of position over here. Square head bolts still on the fire escape treads. This is perfect. Look at that. Look at what happened on that support right there on that stair stringer. Look how much it's dipped. That whole stringer now needs to be rebuilt. So much weight is coming down on this thing that it actually bent the stringer. So that is further proof that you cannot put a chain on a staircase because it'll bend the stringer. It's trying to tear it down. It's undue force both on the stringer, on that other support, as well as this other support down here. And look at all the weight on this thing. So again, no evidence of maintenance. Some on the treads on this one, looks like they had new treads put on this. It actually goes up 25 stories or more. But we're looking for evidence on the supports that they've been flipped out. We don't see any. We see that they've attacked the staircases, but as far as the main supports, original hardware on that. Rail supports, original hardware on that. The cantilever bracket, look at this thing. It's just pulled off back here. It's not been cleaned. It's bent. Rust on the stiffener. As you can see, a lot of rust buildup on the stiffener. Yet it's all welded, but it looks like it doesn't have any bolts on there to reinforce it so it doesn't pop off and drop. Look at this one. Looks like there's been some evidence of new bolting on the stairs. Let's see if we have, again, improper chaining of the weight box and the cantilever. It does not drop 2 to 3 feet per second. The cement in the wall, big hole in the wall there in the pivot. So this pivot is basically not properly supported into the wall. Original hardware is still on the supports, on the, let's see if of the and they did work on the weight because it's a brand new weight, but all the rails have the original square head bolts on them. Supports, trying to look to see if there's some dragon tears. Yeah, there's rusty tears coming down a lot of these supports, indicating that water has intruded into a lot of these supports. Again, this is many stories high. Let's look on this one over here. Again, two separate buildings. This one, the stiffener arm is already popped off, ready to drop on this one. You can see a clearance of at least 1/2 inch to 3/4 on the whole length of this stiffener arm here. The chain is incorrect. Look how weak that support that's holding this whole massive weight is there. So every time this thing comes down, then goes back up, it's gonna yank and break that support. That's an improper support structure there. Going all the way to here, all original hardware still on the fire escape. Clips, looking for maintenance. Not only paint job, looking for maintenance. No evidence of any hex head bolts on those rails, on the supports. Let's look at this one over here. We're looking for evidence of maintenance. And on this one, original square head bolts still on the superstructure. The stiffener arm is bent. The weight box is full of rust. And it's tying back, this whole weight box is tying back to one support right there. It hasn't been painted just recently, but you can also see on this one that it's all bent out of shape. Now this is just walking down the alley. Several buildings, several problems, but they all have one thing in common. A lot of them may have changed the treads out with some new bolting, but they very rarely hit the supports, the rail posts, and cement issues. And this is also 20-something stories. Let's take a look at this one. This one, original hardware. We're looking for, it's still square head bolts on all the treads. No evidence of any maintenance. Needs a paint job because it's beyond the 3 years. The chain is improperly, the chain is just on that platform only. It's not even tied to a support. Evidence that the trucks have hit this thing. We got it popped out of the wall over there. Cement issues. Not all the cement is properly packed. You can see water definitely getting into some of the cement connections. And the joints, a lot of the joints on the stringers are all original hardware on this entire fire escape here. That is on a separate building, which is the back of 133 State. From here, you can look up at that fire escape there on the back. And again, we're looking for some evidence of new square head bolts. I'm sorry, hex head bolts throughout that fire escape. I can't see any evidence on the stringers, the stairs, the supports of any rebolting. And this is a 50 to 75-year-old fire escape. And then the final fire escape that we have here, let's take a look at this one. It's tied over here. And let's see if we can find any evidence of repair to this fire escape. So again, trucks come underneath here. The chain is improperly put. The weight box is twisted and ready to fall and twisting out. It looks like metal fatigue. The cantilever is twisting off to one side. We got a stiffener angle that's popping on this one. Casts that are original bolting, so the casts are ready to drop. Got holes in the wall, so the cement is not even done into the wall. So they're all getting water into the wall there. Original hardware on all the treads, and actually this one looks like it's riveted. We're looking for any evidence of any changes of hex heads bolts on this one. We're not seeing any. Definitely needs a paint job in the 3 year. So we just walked through an alley on the back of 133 State, and every one of those fire escapes had an issue. So any questions on this and any other inspection training video that you've seen, give us a call here, Inspector Meneses, Fire Escape Academy, 800-649-3333.